Committee. Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Bahar, for testifying. I was curious about the fact that so many of the young people on these platforms are exposed to cyberbullying, and that can be anything. Your daughter experienced some of that because of some of the things that she posted online. So, but there is also an addictive quality to keeping these kids online. For the platforms, keeping these kids online means money for them. What is it that, is there anything we can do to address the addictive aspect of what is happening to our young people, where they continue to go on to these platforms and expose themselves to this kind of harmful content?
Thank you for the question. I think that it is essential to have good data about the impact that this product has. And it's not that difficult. You could take a teenager after half an hour and go like, how are you doing? Are you feeling better or worse? And then use that information.
Let's say that we have this kind of data as to the harmful impact. What do you think we should do?
I think that products should adopt measures and, where appropriate, be compelled to figure out a good way to help teens have a use of the product that serves them. Because I think what happens right now is it distresses them. And what I experienced as a parent, and I think every parent here has experienced, is that sense of urgency of needing to be on there and the impact that it has on their emotions.
Do the young people understand the harmful impact themselves? Would it help if part of your testimony is about how all of us should understand what is happening? Would it help if the kids themselves also understand the harmful impacts? This is also an aspect of education, for example, of the young people. Would that help?
I think it helps to educate young people. I think what helps, in my experience, the most is changes to the product so that it's less harmful. And it's those changes and the refusal to do those changes.
So right now, there's not much incentive for these platforms to change their product because they face no consequences for the content. So meanwhile, dozens of states, including the state of Hawaii, where I come from, have sued these companies, including Meta, alleging that they designed their products to harm users. And I think most of these cases have been consolidated in California. The defendants are saying that they are limited in their liability exposure because of Section 230. You're not a lawyer, but if these companies were exposed to legal liability and these lawsuits, they're still pending, by the way, and if the companies are found liable and forced to pay money as a result of these lawsuits, do you think that would change their behavior as far as them paying attention to the harmful impact of the contents on their platforms?
I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not qualified to weigh in on that.
No, but you did testify that it's all about money for these companies. That's why they keep doing what they do. And if they were exposed to, if they had to pay money as a result of their content, do you think that would change their behavior?
My hope is, and what I believe will change their behavior, is the moment that Mark Zuckerberg, when he declares earnings, he has to say, last quarter we made $34 billion. And the next thing he has to say is, and in Instagram, this is the percentage of teens that experience unwanted sexual advances. That number would go down very quickly.
How would it go down?
Because they would be incentivized to work on it. Because right now there are no goals to reduce unwanted sexual advances, as far as I am aware.
Except that if there's no law that prevents them from having this kind of content, or there are no court cases, they're not held responsible for content, then the fact that people know that they have that they have exposed these kids, so what? Right? And this is why there's so much attention being paid to Section 230 and the limited liability. In fact, no liability. They are protected from content. They do try, I suppose, and you say that they have a very limited definition of what is harmful content. But on the other hand, I'm all for doing more than we are currently doing. But, one of the things that can also happen, I led a letter asking the FTC to investigate Meta's alleged practice of censoring advertisements for health products related to menstruation. And there, Meta decided that this kind of advertisements was harmful. I hardly call that a very narrow definition of harm. So all these companies left to their own devices, they get to choose what they deem to be harmful. And in the examples that you cite, it's a very limited definition, but the example I cite, they've decided that women's health products, that is harmful, and they're going to censor those kinds of products. So, this is, it's a lot more complicated than at first, I guess, glimpse, but I know we're going to try and do something. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator Hirono. Senator